Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, where we discuss new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons. We cover 20 titles from Dungeon Masters Guild and 20 from DriveThruRPG. The titles are presented in alphabetical order by site, and all of them are linked in the video description. Purchasing the books using those links helps the channel and the creators, but you can also support the channel by purchasing one of our books. We've got lineages suitable for any setting, as well as optional lineage rules, and our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages. With our Potions Unlocked book, we have over 100 pages of material to take potions to the next level in your game. And our Feywild companion offers 150 pages of Feywild fun for both players and DMs. Please support the channel by purchasing those books using the links in the video description. This week's episode focuses on titles released between September 24th and the 30th of 2021. We've got Pathfinder, 5th edition, Morkborg, you name it. It's in this week's video, so make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end to see all the great titles that were released this past week. First up, we have the Oz Bestiary from Michael Tresca. It's part of a series focusing on public domain Wizard of Oz creations. It's on sale right now for $19.99. It is 296 pages and is for 5th edition. It says, Limony eggs and Kaladas and orcs, oh my. This massive monster supplement details over 300 weird and wondrous creatures drawn from all the Oz literature in the public domain by L. Frank Baum, Ruth Plumley Thompson, and Jack Snow. This fairy setting encompasses much more than Oz, from the skylands of Un to the underground world of the gnomes, from the land of Ev to Maryland, Ix, and the Valley of Mo. These monsters are divided by ecosystem, so you've got some from the Isles, the overworld, the sky, etc., and also includes rules for closed domains and random encounters in each ecosystem. Challenge ratings range from 0 all the way up to 23, so that's a good range. And there's a bundle down here, actually several bundles that contain this product, so if you're looking for some additional products from the author, or you're looking for multiple Oz purchases, like this bundle down here has things related to Oz, you might consider that. So check that out before you decide which one to get. But I think it's cool to have a lot of Oz stuff because it is mostly in the public domain, and I think it's an appropriate setting for Dungeons & Dragons. So let's look inside and see some of the cool interiors here. You got 6 of the 296 pages, but you can see here all of the areas. You've got creatures of the Isles, all the different monsters, creatures of the overworld, etc. So all different kinds of creatures. So you're really just getting to see the table of contents, but you can see hook folk, ogres, Ozbeasts, pine folk, you name it, they're in here. Lots of folk. Polar King. So yeah, this could be lots of fun if you're a fan of Oz or you just want some different beasts. I mean, this range of 0 to 23 is pretty good. So check it out under 5e Foes down in those links in the video description. Next we have Bad Kansas City, Haunt of the Pendergeist. It's a 1930s urban fantasy sandbox campaign for use with 5th edition or OSR or any system basically. And it's by Nerd Glows On. And it's $7.99 at 154 pages. It says a dense urban fantasy hex crawl through the macabre version of 1930s Kansas City. The Haunt of Pendergeist, featuring 130 encounters with gangsters, sorcerers, heroin dealers, demons, and much more. Rage against the Pendergast machine, start a jazz band, rob a bank, find the lost treasure of Jesse James, go toe-to-toe with notorious gangsters, exorcise the ghost of Valentino, or solve numerous mysteries. Includes tables of background material for the ease of referees and players. And like I said, it's system agnostic, so I'm guessing you could use it with 5th edition. But it does only list OSR here, so keep that in mind if you click on this one. There is a free preview, but it's only showing you this hex map, which is pretty cool. Looks very thematic and feels like this old-time 1930s map, so presumably the rest of the book looks that way as well. With 154 pages, it would be nice, Nerd Glows On, if you're watching, if you could either add some more pages to see here, maybe more preview. Let's see if the quick preview shows anything else. No, it just shows the map. maybe that map is a PDF. When you upload your files, it's focusing on the most recent file, or the first file in the file list. So maybe you've just got your map file listed first and you actually meant to show the interior. In any case, by the time you guys watch this video, it might be fixed. So give it a click under Bad Kansas City and check it out. Next we have Beowulf Age of Heroes, Ear of Stone. It's an adventure for one hero of level 5 to 6 and one GM. So Beowulf is a duet system where you have a dungeon master, or GM, referee, whatever you want to call it, and then a player. And I'm really excited by Beowulf and duet. I think it's such a fun way to experience Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm hoping to get their hardcover when it comes out, but there's some shipping problems right now that they're just trying to get it here to the US. So once it's available, I'm going to order that, because I definitely want to be able to play some duet in my life. So we've got Handiwork Games. Here is the author, $4.99 for the book, 29 pages. It says, in this adventure for any nominated Beowulf Age of Heroes, our hero arrives at the Isle of 𝙬𝙤𝙤, where bonds of family and tradition are in grave peril and danger lurks just beneath the surface. So you can see the stunning art that they have in all the Beowulf books. 𝙬𝙤𝙤 is an island protected from both storms and reavers by its resident guardian spirit. Those of the book think the spirit is an angel sent by God, while those of the old ways say it is a 𝙤𝙤𝙀 or sea spirit haunting the island and surrounding waters. Most residents of the island don't see why it can't be both. Whatever the spirit's true nature, its protection makes 𝙬𝙤𝙤 an ideal location for sailors to resupply and trade, earning the island's meat hall the nickname of Wayfarer's Rest. Or so it was until 𝙬𝙤𝙤's guardian turned against it. So some more pages here. And so there's a number of Beowulf pieces. There's a website for Handiwork that you can check out, I think, that has things that you can order as well, including the hardcover. So, but let's look inside here. Love the art. Always gorgeous art on their stuff. Got all the credits. Intro, call to adventure. Cool map here. Different locations. I mean, look at how fun this is. With the way it just looks so cool. The way they did the legend here, like a little scroll and all the numbers. So yeah, looks like a lot of fun. So yeah, if you're in the mood for a duet adventure, check out Beowulf Ear of Stone in the links down below. Next we have Advanced Olde Swords Reign. It's a classic fantasy adventure game from Workhorse RPG Studio. And it's Welcome to Advanced Olde Swords Reign, a tabletop role-playing game with modern mechanics taken from the 5th edition SRD and based on the original 1974 edition and later advanced editions of D&D. So it's kind of a hodgepodge of stuff from 5th edition and other older versions. It says it's more of an homage to old school style of play that is more readily accessible to modern gamers. And this is, again, Advanced Olde Swords Reign, because there is an existing Olde Swords Reign as well. So maybe that one's more OSR and this is more 5e. Rules and Magic is filled with over 300 spells, 12 classes, 7 races, feats, backgrounds, rules for combat, and more. And then they also released this week the Monsters and Treasures book. So basically with that and this, you can have everything you need. This is more like the player's guide and some of the combat rules, and then the other one is Monsters and Treasures. So kind of divided it that way rather than maybe the way the DMG and the PHB are divided. So cool though, only $7.99, so that's a nice price for 270 pages. But it lists as being both compatible with OSR and 5e, and I think that's because it's a mixture of both those games. So, but let's take a look inside. So you can see here's character creation, equipment, all that good stuff, spells and magic. Some lovely art, very well laid out here. Walks you through creating the characters, all that good stuff. So you get to see 99 of the 270 pages. So that's a significant preview. That's more than 1/3 of the book you're getting to see. So you basically can look through all the classes and races and see if it works for you. But yeah, I love the art. I think it looks nice. Layout's really good. So yeah, this could be a really good option for you. Let me see if I can find something to read in here. Let's skip ahead. More fun art here. Yeah, I'm trying to find something unique. So working together. Sometimes 2 or more characters team up to attempt a task. The character who's leading the effort, or the one with the highest ability modifier, can make an ability check with advantage, reflecting the help provided by the other characters. In combat, this requires the help action. So just going into some of the things that you're maybe already familiar with, but well written there. Yeah, it looks like they have a lot of stuff that's covered in here. Falling, suffocating, vision and light. So it seems pretty complete, like it's covering everything that you're going to need for the base game, and then you can build upon it, presumably with future releases or on your own. But yeah, I think Workhorse RPG Studios done a nice job presenting this, and so if you're in the market for something a little different, or you like the original Olde Swords Reign stuff, look for this under Advanced Olde Swords Reign in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Beyond Damage Dice 2 by James Heck from Kobold Press, and it's $3.99 for 14 pages. It says a weapon is much more than just damage it deals. Down to 5 health points or hit points, and fighting for your life against trolls, dragons, werebeasts, or worse, you'll need to use your weapons to their fullest potential to confuse, disorient, and disadvantage your enemies before moving in for the kill. Beyond Damage Dice 2 offers unique maneuvers for specific weapons found in the core 5th edition rules, giving them a distinct impact on the battlefield, and introduces entirely new weapons for dwarves, elves, kobolds, and orcs. Unless the description specifies otherwise, all of the maneuvers in Beyond Damage Dice 2 can be used by any character that's wielding the appropriate weapon and is proficient with it. It's fully 5th edition compatible, and it includes 13 pages of maneuvers for monk and samurai weapons, including maneuvers for Daito, Naginata, and Nunchaku, as well as maneuvers for dwarven weapons, elvish weapons, kobold weapons, and orcish weapons. And then there's 11 new weapons, including the fiery dwarven Dragonhead, the clever kobold catchpole, and an improvised explosive. In addition, you'll find the massive orcish gorgash and chained hand axe, not to mention the elvish joining blades, windrender, bolus, and more. Peruse this volume of martial secrets and learn how to set up a spinning shield, a crushing bone breaker, a disarming parry, and more. So I really enjoy everything from Kobold Press. Every time I get to look at their stuff, I'm always enjoying it. Not only is it well presented usually, but it just, the content's good as well, so I'm always down to look at something from them, and this is no exception already. You can tell it looks great, and yeah, they've got all the different things they're talking about here in these 3 sample pages out of the 14, so we'll read a little bit here. We'll read about the bow. The bow, sometimes redundantly called a bow staff in the West and a cone in Okinawa, is a nearly 6-foot-long fighting staff used most frequently in Okinawan martial arts. Monks that follow the way of the open hand typically learn to fight with a bow during their training. This weapon is mechanically identical to a quarterstaff, and a monk can also use these maneuvers while wielding a quarterstaff. So then you've got lunge and vault. So we'll read about lunge here. As an action, you can make a single melee attack roll with your bow against an enemy within 10 feet of you. If the attack hits, you can switch positions while the target, as long as nothing physically switch positions with the target as long as nothing physically prevents the target from moving. So cool, you can swap places with them. Vault, you can use your bow to help you leap long distances. You can use an action to double the length of your long jump, allowing you to leap a number of feet up to twice your strength score. If you land adjacent to a creature at the end of this jump, you can make a single attack with your bow as part of this action. So very cool bow staff, or bow as it's called. And that's just one. They've got all kinds of weapons in here. I think it's nice. You don't always get those what I'll call non-magic weapons fleshed out in these games. So having a book that's kind of focused on some of these weapons and maneuvers is exciting, because I think that's an unmet need. So look for Beyond Damage Dice 2 in the links in the video description. Give it a click and check it out. Next we have By This Axe Companion. It's a supplement for By This Axe Hack, the sword and sorcery role-playing game. So it's OSR. It says, expanding on the material presented in By This Axe I Hack, the By This Axe Companion includes 12 new character classes, 6 new backgrounds, 72 new spells, and 26 new special features to make your character unique, plus a host of new rules and options, including new combat rules, weapon rules, wealth rules, wilderness rules, runeblade powers, and a collection of relics and artifacts for GMs who want to incorporate magic items into their games. Although designed primarily to supplement by this Axe I Hack and other role-playing games based on the Black Hack, most of the material in this book is relatively OSR compatible and should be easy to modify for use with any version of D&D. So that's cool. I've heard good things about by this Axe I Hack and Black Hack as well. So scrolling through here, you can see they've got the different characters with new classes: Bandit, Gladiator, Witch Hunter, and then you've got combat, adventuring, sorcery, exchanging spells, spell usage, new spells. So very cool. Test modifiers, variable test values, impossible feats, expanded resolve. So you get to see 10 of the 62 pages in this. So we'll read a little bit about the Gladiator here. Gladiators are hardened arena fighters. Alternatively, this class can also represent soldiers trained as lightly armored infantry. They get all their basic stats here, and then they've got special features. Brawling gladiators deal arm damage even when unarmed. If wearing cestus or spiked gloves, gladiators deal +1 damage per unarmed attack. Combat reflexes, gladiators have advantage on initiative tests. And then you got counterpunch, melee specialist, multiple attacks, tough, and then the starting equipment. So that's just one example of a class, but they've got a bunch in here. And it looks like it's easy to read, some nice amount of white space, easy font. I like the single column. So yeah, looks fun. If you're into OSR or Black Hack or any of these things, or even want to try it with 5th edition, you could probably tweak some of these pretty easily to 5th edition. But yeah, check it out under Buy This Axe Companion in the links below. Next, we have Compendium of Unique, Awesome, Inventive, and Totally Easy to Implement Tavern Games and Gimmicks by Gabrielo Despent. It's for 5th edition. That is quite a long title, but it works. It's really just Compendium of Tavern Games, which is what we have listed under in the video description. $3.99 on sale, normally $4.99 for 20 pages. It says spice up tavern visits by introducing various games and gimmicks. Contains around 20 games and gimmicks with varying complexity and approach, such as mage arm wrestling, tall tales, drinking mini games, wordsmith's tussle, and a TTRPG mini game. It's hyperlinked, etc. So very nice. Let's take a look inside. So you've got the list of all the different games, and they're separated by, like, okay, this is going to be like dexterity and athletics, it looks like, and then this is, if you're wasted, it says the tipsier the better, and then games for the mind, and then song and dance stuff, speaking. So yeah, and I like the layout, nice, clean, easy to read. So let's look at mage arm wrestling. It says, what, you thought arm wrestling is for bronze only? What do you need? A magical table that a mage hand can't phase through, so just a normal table. So they're using mage hands to wrestle here. Both players must know the mage hand cantrip. Both characters make a spell attack roll. The player with the highest score wins the initial stage of the match. The player who lost the initial stage must make a con save against their opponent's spell save DC. If the player's saving throw is successful, both players are back in stage 1, else the other player wins. So that's fun. So yeah, it's a different way to use those cantrips, and visually it'd look cool. Even if you just wanted to have in the background, maybe some characters in the tavern doing this. Doesn't have to be the characters, the PCs doing this. It could just be some NPCs doing some of these fun things. So I like all of these that I've seen so far, and I think it's worth checking out, especially if you want to spice up your tavern. So look for Compendium Tavern Games in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got Crimson Escalation from Corthalis Publishing for $3 at 9 pages. It's system agnostic and OSR. It says, long story short, this kicks behind. Plus, it includes 10 rules for better immersion. So what is it? I was looking for a way to make my D&D combat fast, realistic, and exciting. I put forth a few ideas, but my friend Rob Couture had the idea of increasing the critical hit range every round. I took his idea and ran with it. So you've got more from Rob Couture, and it says, if you want to start using Crimson Escalation on your own without purchasing the PDF, you have my blessing. So that's cool. Presumably you're going to be able to see all 9 pages in this preview. Let's take a look. So yeah, you get to see everything. So the author's saying it's fine to use it without purchasing, but I recommend purchasing and supporting these authors. So you've got some information up front, some fun art, and some more details on this way of doing things. And then this is kind of your way of following it. You've got round 1, round 2, all the way around here till you get to round 11. And then some commandments of immersion, and then the credits. So let's go back up and look a little bit at some of this. It says it's a progressive critical hit range that grows incrementally wider each round. This goes for both the adventuring party and their opponents. Critical hits have 2 benefits. First, you automatically hit whatever it is you're attacking. Second, whatever damage is normally rolled, double that amount. For example, 1d8 becomes 2d8, 2d4 becomes 4d4, etc. On round, everyone has a natural 20 crit range. On round 2, everyone crits if they roll a 19 or 20. Round 3 widens to 18 to 20. So yeah, looking at this chart, round 1, you have to hit a 20 to crit. On round 2, 19 to 20, etc., all the way around. And then when you get to round 11, anything from 10 to 20, so you have a 50% chance by the time you get to round 11 or better of hitting a crit. So that's nice. And yeah, I like the visuals of this as well to give you that option. So it's a fun idea. Can definitely be something you try out and see if it works for your table. You don't have to necessarily adopt it every time. Maybe even there's just a certain type of battle you want to use it for. Maybe there's some circumstance that's making things behave strangely. And so with Crimson Escalation, you can have that effect of things being easier to do or growing in intensity as the rounds wear on. So I think it's fun and different, and I like how visual it is. So check it out under Crimson Escalation in those links down below and give it a click. Next we have The Deep. It's an adventure for 3rd to 5th level characters. It's written for Worlds Without Number, but can be used with other OSR systems. It says it's a sandbox adventure and can be played as standalone for characters 3rd to 5th or as a follow-up from one of the other books they released. It incorporates some wilderness exploration, deserted village, and a 3-level underground complex called The Deep. Although this adventure is written for Worlds Without Number, it's easily converted. And you've got this cool looking map here with the hexes and then some other nice maps in here. So I think we've looked at their products before. And yeah, parts per million, that was in a recent video. They've got some good quality to their stuff as far as the look of it. So author Marcus Locke here. Let's take a look inside. So yeah, you get to see all the pages, which is quite kind of them. So here's all the chapters. Intro, plot, local area. Here's a village. We've got some tables for encounters, it looks like. Various characters you're going to encounter here. And here's the ruined village with the map. What I'm not sure is if you also get the maps downloadable separately or if they're only inside the pages of the PDF. That might be, if you're watching Marcus Locke or parts per million, you might want to add that to the description. It might be there and I just missed it. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't see it in here anywhere, but I would add that if it is, and if it's not included, maybe add it as a zip file, because I think that would be a nice touch for the readers here. But yeah, it looks fun. Let's go back in that preview and read just a little blurb from it so you can get the feel of how it looks. It says the adventure can start on the road leading towards the village of Quick Hollow in the local hills surrounding the village and farmland, or actually in the village of Quick Hollow. So they can the characters can encounter different types of situations and adventure styles, allowing for role-playing within a village, meeting the locals and getting involved in their lives, rural situations with the wandering monsters, and a dungeon deep encounter. So the GM can immerse themselves and their players with as much or little detail as they want to put in. Rolling countryside surrounds the village for miles, giving you, the GM, the opportunity to fit the adventure into almost any setting within your game. So, and then the ending is left open so the GM can slot in further encounters or adventure twists to keep the game moving. So very nice. And like I said, lots of stuff in here. You've even got some rumors and fun maps to go with this. So yeah, if you're looking for an adventure that works with Worlds Without Number or OSR, check out Deep, a Worlds Without Number compatible adventure in the links below. Next we have Dungeons and Lairs 3 Archmage Stronghold from DM Dave. It's $2.99 on sale, normally $4.99. It's 18 pages and it's for 5th edition. It's a plug-in adventure for 4 characters with an average party level of 11, 14, 17, or 20, and it offers details for each level and makes adjustments accordingly. Since it's a plug-in adventure, the content serves as a plug-in material for game masters who wish to add a small dungeon to a pre-existing campaign or needs a side quest. If you need a hook for this adventure or already have a similar hook, it offers ways to introduce it using this Stronghold hooks table. So that's cool. And you get the PDF, which also has 12 new monster stat blocks and a full-size map of the Archmage Stronghold by DM Dave. And I think this art is a lot of fun. Makes me wonder what all kinds of things we're going to encounter. Unfortunately, they don't have a preview here for us to look inside, but it does look like it's a fun time. There was another one this author released this week too, and it's not showing down here as a related title, but there was another one from DM Dave as well. So if you're a fan of Dave Hemrick or DM Dave, you might want to check that out as well. But you can get to it by clicking the link down below for Dungeons and Lairs 3 and then clicking on DM Dave if you want, and it'll support him as well as the channel. Next we have Dynamic Action, new third-party options for Pathfinder 2nd Edition from Little Red Goblin Games for $3.99 at 17 pages. It says, dial the action up to 11. Spice up your game with a mix of exciting and energized rules and feats. The contents of this book are a great way to add some anime-inspired energy to Pathfinder 2. The Desperation System. When the chips are down and your back's to the wall, call upon these amazing moves to turn the tide, unleash powerful finishing moves, and dramatic reversals of fortune. New subsystems. These easy-to-use rules allow you to change up the feel of combat. Includes rules for going first when you kick the door down, having kill or be killed dying state, and rules for dynamic teamwork actions. New feats, 10 plus class feats open to all classes with brand new keywords to really spice things up. Berserk, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. These actions are strong but inflict an AC penalty. Flash, act before others can think. Flash actions occur at the start of the round before the normal initiative order. Sudden, don't blink, you might miss it. Sudden actions happen so fast they don't trigger reactions. So very cool, fun, different stuff, and I do enjoy this art on the cover. I think it's quite good. And then the full-size preview, let's take a look at that. So you get to see 6 out of these 17 pages, and it looks like the kind of the style on the cover with the border continues on the interior. And this one took a bit to load, so I didn't have it ready. Sorry about that, but here we go. Now it's loaded. But yeah, you can see that they've got these borders with the nice little jewels in the corner. So here's some of the desperation feats. So let's look at one of these. I can make it. Stride up to 3 times your speed if moving through a particular space or area would require a skill check such as climb or swim check. You may make the check as a free action and treat any result other than a critical success or a critical failure as a success. If you are at least trained in skill, treat any result other than a critical failure as a critical success. So that's cool. And this is, I guess, in moments of desperation you would need this. But I like the look of this and some of the concepts here. A lot of these are alternate rules, could be fun. I haven't played Pathfinder, but it seems to me this could be a good new title for people that do play 2E, and give you some different things. Desperation, other subsystems, and then of course the feats. So check it out under Dynamic Actions down in the links in the video description. Next, another title for Pathfinder. It's Eldritch Essences, Promethean, by Hal Kennett and Lost Spheres Publishing. $8.99 for 51 pages, and it's for first edition Pathfinder or basically D&D 3.5. Drawing the dark tapestries of the mythos and cosmic horror, Eldritch Essences Promethean introduces a new player class, the Promethean. Driven by reckless obsession, the Promethean seeks ever-deepening mysteries of power, unlocking each at a cost of their dwindling humanity. The volume contains the Promethean base class, 4 obsessions to guide your character's descent into power and lost humanity, new veils, including the powerful new flesh warps to expand existing veil-weaving classes, like the Vizier, Nexus, and more. New City of Seven Seraphs lore regarding the class and its place within Hyratian. New feats and magic items to support the new class and bring their power to other characters. So very fun option. I like the cover a lot as well. Very ominous. And then you look inside here and you get kind of similar color scheme. You get to see 3 of the pages, but lots of stuff in here. Something called a Thought Hunter, an Eldritch Organs, Toxin Lungs, Behemoth's Flesh, so some cool stuff. But yeah, you get to see 3 of the 51 pages. Let's see. It's mostly an intro, so I don't really want to read that because we've read the catalog text. But yeah, you can see here with all of this that they've got some fun thematic Cthulhu-style stuff in here, whether it's the Gills of the Deep One or War Sculptor's Menagerie, Visage of the Faceless. You've got some kind of creepy-sounding stuff. So it looks like it could be really fun, and I like that it's for 1st edition because then it's also kind of for Dungeons & Dragons. So very cool. Check it out under Eldritch Essences Promethean in the links below and give it a click. Next we have a map pack, which looks really fun. It's called Maps for Fantasy RPGs 1 Old School by Laidback DM, and it comes in multiple file formats for $10 on sale, normally $20, and it's 20 pages. It's system agnostic, but also available for Dungeons & Dragons and OSR. I think because it's just maps, it really can be used for anything that can use a map like this. But it's a collection of 45 hand-drawn maps and a zip file of 90 digital image files, which come with a limited commercial license allowing you to use them in your own commercial projects. So that's nice. But I can get inspired by these and create something, or see myself playing through one of these. And so when I saw this, I thought you guys might enjoy it as well. So let's take a look inside. And what I also liked is that the 20-page PDF here kind of shows you a lot of the 45 different maps here. You don't always see that with map packs. A lot of times you only get to see one image because they don't want to give away what you're buying. You're buying images, right? When you're buying maps, you're not necessarily buying text. So I totally get why you don't get to see it a lot. But I thought this was a nice approach because they kind of shrunk down each of the maps so you can kind of see what you're getting. But you can see there's just a wide array of maps. It's everything from, some sort of crypt and, ruined place, down to a town, to a maze, caverns, you name it. They've got maps in here, and it doesn't come with stories. So, sometimes you get these maps and it's like there's a whole story associated with it, and you might feel a little bad if you take the map and then use it for something else, because it's like, well, then it's going to be weird if I ever want to use it with the story that it came with. But with these, you don't have to worry about that because there's no story. It's just maps. It's whatever you make it, right? So I really like this. I think it's fun, and it's nice also that creators can use it with make sure you read the license if you're a creator, because you probably have to cite that the maps came from this product or this company, before you use them. So don't just buy this and put them in your book. Be sure to read the license information if you do that. All right, so look for it under Maps for Fantasy RPGs in those links below and give it a click. Next, we have Mega Dungeon number 6 with a fun cover. I really like this cover. Very nice art. It's from Hack and Slash Publishing, $3.99, and author is Courtney Campbell. This is the 6th issue of Mega Dungeon is upon us. Dungeon adventures, 2 new dragons, and resources suitable for any campaign. Dual statted for basic Dungeons and Dragons as well as 5th edition. So that's super cool. Any of you that play both the OSR basic stuff and 5th edition are going to be happy because you can have both in this one book, and $3.99, that's a low price. So easy to get something for both of your styles of Dungeons and Dragons here, if you're into those. And it says articles on making dungeons exciting, the mega dungeon and campaign and weekly play, and the mega dungeon as sport, and the party fish bros the 𝙏𝙤𝙘𝙀. Have some brewskis before the end of all things, man. Also contains an advertiser section highlighting some of the best and most interesting products. So that's nice. So let's take a look inside. So you get to see all 42 pages, and let's scroll through and take a look here. For some reason my full previews are taking a bit today, but yeah, it looks nice. I like the artwork. So I'm not going to read everything here, but you can see they got some nice isometric maps in here. So here's some dungeon seeds, mega dungeons made easy. And this is 𝙏𝙤𝙘𝙀, and then counter table is 𝙏𝙤𝙘 basically. Yeah, I like the line art they've got in here, mega dungeon musings. So it seems like just quite a mixture of different things. So let's take a look up at the top here. So getting sick at the party. We can't even go downtown or stand next to each other. The disease is so dangerous. Can you imagine riding around in the primordial filth of a mega dungeon? On a failed save against disease, you have contracted one of the following illnesses. Roll 1d6 and add +1 for each level of the dungeon. 2d6 turns later, the stage 1 symptoms occur. A successful save versus poison reduces the stage by 1. A failure increases the stage by 1. Make a saving throw after a week of rest. Not resting penalizes the save. Stages are cumulative. So then they've got the red pox here. Stage 1, large pale red splotches appear all over the skin. They itch, -1 on all combat rolls. Stage 2, the splotches turn a dark red and begin to itch and burn. The skin easily cracks. All damage taken is doubled. Stage 3, the patches over a series of about 6 hours tear their way out of the skin and fly off on chitinous flat red wings. -2 to charisma permanently. Oh, wow. Okay, that's quite harmful. So cool little diseases in here. So it's like a mixture of stuff with cool artwork, and yeah, I can see where that would work with different systems. So check it out under Mega Dungeon number 6 and give it a click. Next we have a piece of rotten fish. It's from Morkborg, which is really cool. And it says 2 feuding and starving fishing hamlets, 1 tasty rotting carcass of a giant sea monster in between. The meat could feed both hamlets for a long time. Unfortunately, the hamlets are not in a sharing mood. Sounds like a simple conflict, but things are going to get much more complicated for the 2 hamlets. Something is stirring inside the rotting fish, and other beings are swimming closer, seduced by the sweet smell of the decomposing body. And when our scoundrels finally enter the situation, will they be saviors, or are they instead the bringers of doom? It's a 1 to 3 session long third-party Morkborg adventure for 3 to 5 players, taking place somewhere along the coastline of the Endless Sea. So that's nice. That's a cool description. Sounds fun. I love the setup for the story. That's a really nice setup. It's from Sorchi Games and Carl Erik Engqvist. 26 pages. You got the intro, cool artwork, little map here, encounters on land. I love this. Brian Bow. Always Morkborg brings the art. It's just fun to look through Morkborg stuff. So let's look at some of the residents of Brian Bow. So you got Soren, who has a soft voice, pockmarked skin, craves pudding, and knits fishing nets. Nice, okay. And then Ulf, silver hair, muscular, weird, threatening smile, loves cold baths, and is a fisher. So that's good to know. And then treasures. The stuff remains of a half monkey, half fish, slowly crawls toward the nearest source of water during the night. A piece of ambergris whale vomit can be used for making perfume or sold, so that's fun. And I really love Brian Bow. I think that looks really fun. And some of these other maps here. But this concept of these 2 different villages being unwilling to share this creature that ultimately is going to be bad for them anyway, because it's something is lurking within it. It's a really fun concept, and you can see there's lots of great art here, and things that you can reuse, because you can take these towns and use them again, or use just some of the characters. Maybe with these people we looked at, maybe you only got through the first few of them here, and so then you still have Mogans and Kay and Vera left, and you can use them for another location. So or you can go back to this town and meet them a second time. So I like it a lot. Check it out under Piece of Rotten Fish in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Spheres Bestiary, Fiends of the Cosmos for Pathfinder 1E. It's $4.99 for 50 pages. It says, powers of corruption long have tales spoken of inhuman evils, entities of corruption and ruin with countless names and faces. Their abilities are incredible, their intentions nightmarish, and now their secrets revealed. It introduces players to 18 mighty fiendish foes ranging from the lowly imp to the corrupting nightmare prophet to the alien elemental cyst to the mighty abyss-torn tyrant. Also contained within the book are numerous new feats for outsiders and 7 expansive templates for creating new fiends of your own design. Seize upon this archive of strange powers and witness what the fiends of the cosmos truly have to offer. So yes, very fun description there. Let's take a look inside. You get to see 6 of the 50 pages. So yeah, you've got your intro, and then right away, well, let's go back to the TOC here. I want to see the layout. So you got your monster feats, then your templates, then your creatures. Okay, so very cool. So we're right here now already in the monster feats. So there's fun different feats for your monsters, and then templates. So there's Apostle 𝙬𝙤𝙀. The beings known as the 𝙬𝙤𝙀s pursue a higher state of being through self-mutilation, most often aiming for pleasure or a greater truth. Both impulses drive these immortals to share their discoveries with others, a process which continually expands the number of disciples eager to learn more about the great secrets of existence. Those who learn these secrets and end up distancing themselves from their morality, their sensibility, and ultimately their humanity, living on as eternal horrors known as Apostle 𝙬𝙬𝙀s. And then there's all sorts of stats and stuff related to the apostles. Here's a sample one. It's nice that they give you a sample one so you can kind of see how the template would work. I like that. So yeah, lots of fun stuff in here, more creepy things, and yeah, it looks like a good time. So look for it under Spheres Bestiary in the links down below. Next we have the Twilight Dream with a stunning cover. I just love this cover so much. Very beautiful and evocative of what might lie within. And it's by Firefly Inventions, $10 for 379 pages. That's a lot of pages for $10. And Nicholas Robinson is the primary author here, it looks like. It's an original campaign setting and adventure guide compatible with 5th edition. So that's nice. And the PDF takes players on an epic adventure inspired by the rich fantasies of the British Isles. You play as a group of high school students at Camelot University who, after discovering their extraordinary magical powers, are thrust headfirst into a battle to save 2 worlds from the mad ambitions of the Night King. The Twilight Dream is a secret world of magic and monsters, sky islands, and scheming elven queens. Europa, meanwhile, is a land in the midst of great change as new technologies rapidly transform life for her people. Railways, ice cream, electricity, and motion pictures exist side by side with kings and castles. It is an exciting time full of interesting characters and new opportunities, and most of all, adventure. The world of the Twilight Dream was inspired by the rich stories of the Gaelic, Celtic, and Brythonic folklore and mythology. It also borrows from Norse, North German, and later Christian traditions. It's set in a time period roughly equivalent to American Wild West, a time of great societal change as technology brought humanity into the modern era. Very cool. Includes how to play and run the game, detailed gazetteer of the world, new character creation options such as races, classes, feats, backgrounds, and cantrips, new items, new monsters, and a short introductory adventure for 46 characters at the 2nd level. And there's a brand new spell system with tons of arcane and martial spells. Arcane spells are sorceries that manipulate the fabric of reality, and martial spells raise the caster's physical abilities to superhuman levels. A detailed guide for the DM to run the villainous faction, the Gloaming Court. Factions including rules for gaining renown, ranks, and benefits. A guide to your own personal hideout called the Sanctum. A rule set for life at school and roles in the adventure post-graduation. Alternative rules for health, damage, exhaustion, ritual, magic, resting, extreme terrain, and skill training. So I like this concept a lot of, the characters being thrust from modern day into discovering extraordinarily magical powers, and they may not be modern day. It just says a group of high school students at Camelot University, so it may be part of this world, which is kind of American Wild West. I'm not sure, but I like that they're coming out of this sort of academic setting and going into growing up, basically having to deal with these fantastical things. And it sounds like the book has a lot in these 379 pages to support that. So let's look inside. So you get to see 6 of those pages. So you've got a whole world of adventure, and then here's about the setting and passage of time, the religions, and then here's some of the deities, it looks like. So yeah, we'll read about one of these here. So Belenus, good, domains light, a stylized solar disk emanating rays of light. A smiling Evelyn's face occupies the left half of the disk. So cool. Okay, in the waking world, Belenus is known as the Lightbringer or the Shining God. In some traditions, he pulls the sun across the sky in his burning chariot, while in others, he places the stars or paints the auroras in the night sky. The stories make no mention of Yggdrasil, a great tree or another world. Shipwrecks carrying golden symbols of Belenus with clear elven facial features have been found off the coast of Europa dating back thousands of years. The clerics of Belenus perform rites in his name at high noon, chanting and burning incense to drive out evil. People pray to Belenus for protection from evil and the courage to face their fears. Cool. So, nice to get to see a little background on the deities. I think it would be cool, author Firefly Inventions, if you're watching, to maybe have couple pages on something else in the description here, maybe as images, whether it's a little bit about the spell system or the character options. I think the character options especially would pique people's interest, or maybe a monster, part of a monster or something, just to mix it up, because not everybody's looking for deities. I like the deities that you have in there, but I think you've got a lot in this book, especially with 379 pages, and so I think it'd be good for people to see that. So if you're watching, it may have been added. A lot of times the creators do take my feedback and implement it quickly, so give it a click, go over to the Twilight Dream, check it out. Support this creator and the channel by clicking that link, and be sure to look at this awesome cover. I love it. All right. Next, we have Wild Magic, an all-new Wild Magic chart with 100 consequences ranging from hilarious to deadly, from Explorers Guild Publishing, $1.99 on sale, normally $2.99. It's 9 pages, and it says it's compatible with Dungeons & Dragons, any system, Pathfinder, 1E, 2E, all that stuff. And really, who doesn't need more wild magic? It says, the magic of your spells spirals out of control and careful flow of arcane energy begins to flood outward. This chart provides 100 widely varied outcomes for wild magic, as well as rules for making it happen. The standard chart is written for Dungeons & Dragons, but special changes and notes provided for Pathfinder and Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So provide your players and friends with a truly unique experience they'll never forget. Please rip holes into space and summon immortal puppies responsibly. So, seems like there's going to be some humor in some of the options. We'll look at a few of the options in a minute. But, you can never have enough wild magic, whether it's just some random thing that you need to have pop up from an NPC, or just as a result of some excess magic flying through the air and hitting the wrong target, maybe something wild happens, or you're a wild magic sorcerer, or if you purchased our book, The Feywild Companion, we have a lineage called Feybound, where you need to have some wild magic effects, because when you roll a certain number on your d20, that's going to happen. So, it's got a lot of uses, and even just using it, like I said, as flavor for something to happen. So let's take a look at some of them in here. So you only get to see 2 of the 9 pages, but of course they don't want to give away all the effects, but you get to see some of them. So here's some details on how to work it into the various Pathfinder versions, and then how it works. But let's just read a couple of the effects here. So a leather boot is created and strikes the target in the head. If the target is concentrating on a spell, they must make a DC 20 Constitution save or lose concentration. Okay. The dirt in a 20-foot radius around the caster is thrown 20 feet per spell level into the air. If there is no dirt, it is created and thrown this way. Dexterity save to avoid blindness for 1 round. Confetti explodes around the target, dealing 1 damage to everyone in a 10-foot radius. Reflex save DC 15 to negate damage. If multiple explosions of confetti occur, the damage does not stack. So, and not all of them are ranged area of effect stuff. I've read some of the other ones here just while talking, and I can see that they're not all that way, but we did pick some nice area of effect ones to look at, and I like this. I think you could have just one of these effects happen randomly, right? So never hurts to have more of these, and it's on sale for $1.99, so I think this is a really good thing to pick up. So click the link for Wild Magic Chart in those links in the video description. Next, we have Willforged Wonders, Magic Relics Forged from Undying Wills by Lore Masters Archives of Wonder at $8. Author Dev Wozlewski, 5th edition compatible, 34 pages. The magic woven into this legendary type of item is potent and carries the will of its originator. Each item awaits attunement, and once attuned, it gives you a taste of its power. As you use this item, it gradually observes your actions, awaiting the moment to make judgment and determine whether or not you are a fit successor to the last will of the soul bonded within. Willforged Wonders are indestructible unless power equivalent to a wish spell is used to destroy it. Born when the soul of a creature with an indestructible will latches onto an important possession that had significant meaning to it, these items bestow those they judge worthy with great power. Through usage, you and the Willforged Wonder will form a deeper connection, and eventually it may bond with you in a magical covenant where you awaken with new power within both you and your Willforged Wonder. And the Lore Masters Archives released a couple of titles this week, including one on cantrips that looked pretty fun, so it was tough picking which one to cover. But so you might want to click this and check out some of their other stuff that they released this week. But we'll look at this one. I picked this one because the interior art was so distinct and different compared to the cantrips one, which also looks good. It's just more traditional in the cantrips one, and this one was kind of non-traditional and very visual, and I thought it'd be good for the video to see some of this non-traditional looking stuff. So yeah, you can see just me scrolling up and down at the 9 of the 34 pages that there's some fun artwork, different things going on. So there's the waiting state with these wonders, and then there's the revealed state, the bonded state. So these items go through various steps, and you find out about them. So here's Athenaeum and Angelbane, and then a picture of Angelbane. So yeah, we'll read one of these in a minute. Ďaďis. It says identifying during waiting state, Comper of Lightning. It says it requires attunement by a monk. Improved strikes, you gain +1 to attack rolls made with unarmed strikes. This bonus increases to +2 when revealed and +3 when bonded. So as you go through these stages, you get different features. And then there's the revealed features and the bonded features. Whenever you make an unarmed strike using your hands while wearing these hand wraps, you deal an additional 1d4 lightning damage on each hit. And then we'll read the revealed features here. When Ďaďis enters its revealed state, the two hand wraps transform into two snakes named Zu and Ro, but collectively call themselves Ďaďis. These snakes use the poisonous snake stat block and take their turns immediately after yours in combat in any order. They obey all of your verbal commands, requiring no action, and can speak and understand all languages you know. If either snake attacks, they use your spell attack modifier for their attack roll, and on hit, the creature must make a Constitution saving throw against your key save DC instead of the original save for the poisonous snake stat block. On a failure, the creature takes 4d4 lightning damage, or half on a save, instead of the original poison damage. So, fun. I like that it becomes two different snakes, and that's just a little bit. We didn't even read the whole thing of Ďaďis. There's a bunch of stuff in here with all these different items. I love the look of it. So, yeah, very fun, different take on things. Only $8. So check it out on DriveThruRPG under Willforged Wonders. Click the link down below and give it a look. Next we have World of Timnath, Season 1, What's Up with Green Finmore, Episode 1, The King's Emissary. So Season 1, Episode 1, The King's Emissary from Watt Publishing, WOT. It's on sale for $9.99, normally $12.99. It's for, it looks like it's for various versions of Dungeons & Dragons. You got 3rd edition, Classic, 4th edition, and 5th edition. So that's nice. Timnath is a magical and eclectic world created in 1980. The world was created by an eccentric scholar in some unknown universe as a fully self-contained crystal globe that now sits on his desk. The world is much like the Ptolemaic system, having an outer crystalline sphere containing multiple concentric inner spheres, each forming a plane of existence. However, the inner world is a flat disk floating in an immiscible melange of ocean water and molten lava stirred by the spinning outer spheres. Here you will find unique D&D rules, lore, empires, heroes, villains, adventures, and intrigue developed over 41 years of active role-playing in a world that covers 70 map tiles and over 1.6 million square miles, with lands at sea and below in the underworld yet to be discovered. So Season 1, what's up with the Green Fenmore? Things are not going well these days for the elves in the world of Timnath. So that's cool. That's kind of like the setting. And then Episode 1, the King's Emissary, the Elven King of Neral, dispatched a cohort of rangers to investigate 3 moons gone without any word back. He has now issued a proclamation requesting adventurers of brave and clever conduct to come find the cause of the scourge upon the woods and hopefully eradicate it. So you get introduction to the world of Timnath, campaign setting, all new original 45-page adventure module, unique encounter themes, game master's manual and player's manual, beautiful illustrations, 24-color encounter and location maps, and high-resolution world map tiles. So very nice. Lots of stuff in here. And it's on sale, which is really nice. So let's look inside, and you get to see 10 of the 45 pages. So the layout is they've got the intro, then talking about episode objectives and encounter themes, and then various handouts and encounter maps. So very cool, top secret stuff. And one of the headlines here, Introduction to Call to Adventurers, episode objectives, and then here's your competing adventurer parties. That's nice. Gives you some pre-made adventurer parties that could be competing. And then Sylvan Forest normal random encounters. So very nicely laid out. I really like this. Let's read a little bit of the call to adventurers. The following advert has recently been posted in the cities and surrounding villages of Nerzogarth, Weredale, Galamir, Warren, and the East Reaches. Present this to the players. So the handout says, "Hear ye, all adventure seekers of valorous and shrewd conduct. The most august King Kalamath of the Sylvan Elves on high dost request thy attendance to select a company of champions for a most harrowing exploration, to which glory and favor be thy reward. Bring thy courage and harness and equipage to the customary hospital house of the Sylvan Wood in the first moon upon the fortnight, drawing night be agone. By his royal edict, the Lord Kalamath of the Norrell in the Sylvan Wood." So I like that. Lots of flavor, lots of old school English in there. Seems really fun. Yeah, this is cool. I also like that description in the catalog page of the world, because it sounds like a fun little world sphere with all these layers in this orb sort of thing. So I'm curious to learn more about this setting as well. So this might be a fun kickoff point and get in on the ground floor, get this first adventure, and start learning about this world that's been a long time in the making by the authors, it sounds like. So yeah, got to support these new creators. Get it while it's on sale, and look for it in the links under World of Timnath Season 1. So that does it for our DriveThruRPG titles for this week. We're going to move on to Dungeon Masters Guild, but before we do, please subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter at Splinterverse, like the video, leave a comment, share the video out, and click those links in the video description to purchase these books. It supports the channel, it supports us. If you purchase anything from those sites by clicking those links, you're going to help us, and you guys do that, and we really appreciate it. It helps a lot. And if you're feeling extra kind, consider purchasing Feywild Companion, which just came out last week. It's 150 pages of Feywild fun for dungeon masters and players. So much stuff going on in it. It's already bestseller and sold a ton of copies, so you got to check it out, see what you're missing if you haven't already. And then I've also got potions unlocked on this site, DriveThruRPG. It's over 100 pages making potions just something essential to your game, and lots of cool stories in there that you can read along with the brand new potions and the maps and encounters and vendors and all the good stuff. And then of course Van Richten's Librum of Lineages if you're new to lineages and want some really fun distinct ones that can work in any setting. Purchasing that would help as well. All 3 of those books linked in those description down below, along with the other titles. So please give those a click and a try, and let me know what you think of them if you do pick them up. All right, on to DM's Guild. First DM's Guild title this week is the 𝙁𝙤𝙢𝙬𝙧, a new Eberron race. It's from Daylight Publications, $2, 10 pages. And it says, warriors a hair above the rest. The 𝙁𝙤𝙢 existed on Khorvaire for many centuries without notice, as most simply remained in their expansive warrens called cairns that expanded throughout the earth like massive tunneled cities. Cautious and pacifistic by nature, this does not mean the 𝙁𝙢𝙢 were not without warrior spirit, the wily burrowers needing to hold off whatever underground terrors might bust into their homes. Over time, 𝙁𝙢𝙢 culture split into 3 different chapters based more on philosophy than physical change. These 3 chapters, diggers, riggers, and runners, came to greatly define the role of the 𝙁𝙢𝙢 in the Khorvairian society as they began to integrate more with the various kingdoms and empires that rose and fell. And then it says, which cairn will you choose? There's philosophical differences, and it's a lost race in Eberron history. And it looks kind of like the 𝙬𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙗, but I'm sure there's different backgrounds here for this race. Very cool artwork here. They're very military in this picture. So we'll take a look inside and see a little bit more. So you get to see all 10 pages. That's nice. So you get to read basically the full book here. So yeah, nice layout. Got a little journal recovered from a battle here that you can read. And they're talking about the diggers, riggers, and runners. And then some locations for the different types of these rabbit people. And yeah, all the traits are down here. So you got the names. There's an ability score increase, which is different based on whether you're a digger, runner, or rigger. Or actually, yeah, it's just different stats. So constitution for digger, dexterity for runner, charisma for rigger. And then, cool. So I like how they did that. They kind of just listed each category and then listed, each of the subtypes here. So rather than having subtypes separately. So that's nice. So here's some of the abilities. So nimble feet, you gain a +2 bonus to acrobatics checks. Your walking speed is 40 feet, and you gain a burrow speed of 20 feet. And then hair's luck, once per long rest, when you make a dexterity saving throw, you can re-roll the saving throw twice and take the better result. You must decide to use this ability before the saving throw is attempted. Okay, cool. And then keen senses, you gain advantage on perception checks. So lots of fun abilities there, or traits for the race. And I like that it's Eberron themed, so you can get into the lore of where these particular sub races are settled in the map. So that's nice. Yeah, it looks fun. Maybe you want to try a different take on the 𝙬𝙤𝙤𝙤, like another rabbit race. Then this is a good option for you, and it's very Eberron focused, whereas the 𝙬𝙤𝙤𝙤 is more generic. So that's nice. Or you might even be able to adapt some of these to be sub races for the 𝙬𝙤𝙤𝙤 as well. Lots of opportunities there for DMs to work with this. So yeah, looks fun. Look for it under 𝙁𝙤𝙢 in the links below. Next we have Craftsman's Guide to the Multiverse, a complete guide to rare geodes, metals, and magical materials across the realms. And it's by Garrett Gautreaux, and it's 28 pages for $15. And it says the Craftsman's Guide to the Multiverse is a compendium of magical crafting materials from every single plane of existence in the world access cosmology model. It's meant to spark world-building ideas, introduce materials that have unique magical properties, and provide unique mechanics and magic items that can be introduced directly into your games. 26 magical metals, geodes, and materials, along with 68 fully play-tested magic items, and several more mechanical resources to easily utilize each material to its fullest potential. From the absolute order of Acheron to the legendary beastlands of Arcadia, what secrets will these unexplored planes hold? So what's interesting about this title is they also released a demo version, which is pay what you want, which just has fewer pages. So if you want to check it out before you buy, scroll down here when you click the link and click on that and check out the demo. Interestingly, the demo also has a bigger preview than this one. So let's click on the demo and look at the preview. The pages are from the same book, but there's more in the full size one. You only see this page, but in this one you get to see 3 pages. So I'd rather show you the 3. So All right, so elemental plane of air, aerolite, talks about that particular metal, and then you've got magic items made from it, and then you've got the ethereal plane with ether plasm, and then the various items made from that, and so on and so forth. You see Hades here doing the same thing. They've got demon iron and magic items. So I like that structure of like, here's a plane, here's a element from the plane, and then here's some magic items based on that. Is it kind of, I think it organizes it well so that you can get to know this element or metal, material, whatever you want to call it, and then find out more about the items. So let's just look here at the elemental plane of air. So over the eons, beings of great power have clouded the purity of the infinite elemental plane of air with their own palaces, meteorite-sized chunks of earth, or clouds thick enough to support buildings that hold their followers, or even entire civilizations. These solid materials have gradually been influenced by the plane's magics, causing them to aerate, and a new unique material to be formed, aerolite. An excessively light but still workable material, aerolite is sky blue metal that is much more magical in origin than many of the other metals in this compendium. The origin of this material causes the weapons and armor that can be created from it to be rather magical in nature and provide considerable benefits despite the lack of strength of metal. The main features of aerolite armor sets include greatly increased jump height or limited flying speed, and aerolite weapons and ammunition gain greatly increased range, or the ability to throw them in the first place also at increased range. So you've got a dagger, Wings of Supreme Flight, which is a wondrous item, very rare, and then Sword of Cutting Gales, which is a long sword, very rare. So we'll just read the aerolite dagger here. This extremely light but very sharp dagger is made of a light blue metal known as aerolite. This metal lets the weapon cut through the air faster and for far longer than knives of any other type. The throwing range in this weapon is 150-600, and you get a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made when throwing this magic weapon. So you can see kind of how the structure of the book works. I like it. It seems like some are a little longer than others, which is normal with magic items. Some require more detail, but I also like that there's a little bit more detail on the material as well, if it calls for it. And these pictures are evocative of the planes that we're talking about. You know, floating islands for the air, and then you've got sort of this nice look for the ethereal plane, and then Hades, this dark mountain. So good job on the art as well. So yeah, if you're looking for some plane related metal, I mean, this is the demo, but we'll go back to the other one here. Where is that? There we go. Get you the full price. So $15, you can get 26 new metals and 68 items. So lots of stuff for you in the 28 pages. So check it out under Craftsman's Guide to the Multiverse in the links below. Next we have Fleshmeer, A New Domain of Dread by J.W. Ross for 79 cents. It's 4 pages. It says the domain of Fleshmeer is a new domain of dread for the Ravenloft setting. It is built to be used in conjunction with Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. It says the ground squelches beneath your feet, staining your boots with dark crimson. A perpetual smell of rotting meat hangs in the air. Welcome to Fleshmeer, a completely brand new domain. It is heavily inspired off of body horror and features land made of pure flesh, trees of meat, and buildings of bone and writhing wet meat. So if you were looking for something kind of very dark, body horror, flesh things, then this might be a good option for you in terms of a new domain of dread. Unfortunately, there's no preview or images here to show inside, but I like this description of trees made of meat. I thought that might interest some of you, so I wanted to include it, even though we didn't have a preview this week on this one. But yeah, it just sounded really fun. So check it out. It's only 79 cents. It's under Domain of Dread, Fleshmeer or Meyer in the links below. Next, we have Dwarves of Djornimmar, a tentacle-filled, time-stopping Lovecraftian one-shot for 15th to 17th level characters. And I like that because you don't get that many adventures for this high level. And Wizards typically doesn't even release anything that level. So it's nice that we have a 15th to 17th option here. It's by Jason Jacobs, $3.95 for 42 pages. It says, horrors from the old world await. Eons ago, the beholder Tamax discovered the secret of time itself. It doesn't matter to him that when he harvests this power, it leaves worlds in utter chaos and ruin. He now searches your world, fully intent on taking the forces that keep time in order for himself. Will he succeed, or can your party of adventurers stop him before time across your realm crumbles? So I like that description. Some fun art on the cover. So let's look inside. You get to see 16 of the 42 pages. So you got your intro to the adventure, and then story setup, and then you've got your part 2, 3, and then wrapping up the adventure, as well as monsters, and then some additional illustrations. And I like that it looks like they're listing all their Discord ID numbers in here, which I think is really nice, because then you can reach out to them if you have questions or you want to thank them for the work. So, but yeah, it says Anytime D&D is the group that's behind this book. So you got some flavor text and then some read aloud. We'll come back and read some of that in a minute. I always like to read the early stuff in modules, so I'm not spoiling too much if I can. But you can see some fun art, nice layout throughout. I like this little map. So yeah, you get to see a significant amount of good stuff in the 16 pages here. I like this final map here, very cool. And beholders are always interesting, so it's nice that there's beholders involved in this. So let's see. It says Dwarves of Djornimmar is a Lovecraftian horror-themed one-shot. It can be used on its own or added to your campaign. Very good. Let's see. The recent history. Adventure hooks. The Northern Reaches could be a kingdom in your world, or perhaps Djornimmar is just a random outpost on the borders of one of your realms. The Beholder's lair could be in one of the mini caves surrounding Icewind Dale, or in the Mistcliff Mountains of 𝙬𝙗. Perhaps he resides under Mount Gacchus or Yesterhill in the Demiplane of Dread. The possibilities are endless. So, very cool. Let me read one of the... let's read the introduction scene, at least part of it. The dwarven outpost of Djornimmar, watchtower of the southern reaches, has gone quiet. No communication has come for weeks. A rescue party was sent, but they never returned. The dwarves' best, the mighty Proudhammer company, marched into the keep, also never to be heard from again. King Gisek, the Grey Arm, has laid siege to the keep in an attempt to unravel what seems to be a harsh and deadly mystery. 7 months after the rescue party left, a lone dwarf comes out of the fortress's gate, badly burned and barely clinging to life. He's taken to the healers. When he wakes up, he tells them his tale. And then we won't read the whole tale, but you get the idea of the feeling there. I like it. There's a darkness, some danger, some mystery, some fun artwork. So check it out if you're looking for a fun, high-level adventure under Dwarves of Djornimmar in the links down below. Next, we have The 11th Hour by Dylan Ramsey. It's $6.99 at 50 pages. And it says it presents new options and ideas for your Wild Beyond Witchlight campaign, including character ties to connect PCs to the wider world. Meet the League of Malevolence at the Witchlight Carnival. Treasures scattered across Prismeer for PCs to find. Glimpse into Zybilna's memories and shape the Archface's history for yourself. Whimsical new locations, NPCs, and magic items, suggestions for continuing the campaign, and more. So, kind of a fun carnival circus-themed cover. Let's take a look inside. So you get to see 19 of the 50 pages. So you've got information on character ties, the Witchlight Carnival itself, Prismeer, talking about the unicorn horn, information on hither, thither, and yon, Palace of Heart's Desire, and continuing the campaign, and then inspiration index. So looks like it's just going to kind of supplement what you have if you purchased Witchlight. So presumably you would need Witchlight to make the best use of this book, but maybe there's stuff in here you could use without that. So just scrolling through here. So let's just read a little bit about Hither, what they recommend there. It says, as you roleplay characters living in Hither, don't forget the main theme of the area as only being interested in the present. Folks don't usually think ahead to what will happen the next time the swamp water rises or care about anything other than living in the moment. This is especially true for the bullywugs of Downfall. Who you were or who you will become has little bearing on the goings on here. Only who you are matters. If you're using the suggested locations for Sibylna's desires from earlier in this guide, then the Dretch's envy and disdain can be found in hither. And then it's got some changes that happen. And then you got Slanty Tower. Despite being one of the first locations the PCs are nudged towards, the interior of Slanty Tower isn't detailed in the adventure, so they're fleshing it out here. So that's cool. They're kind of helping you with a little bit of description on some of the things. So yeah, this is really just meant to help flesh out the adventure for you for $6.99, and I like the fun little cover. So look for it under 11th Hour in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Heroes of the Domains of Delight, Volume 1. Optional class features, subclasses, feats, and more by Jeremy Forbing. It's $14.95 for 119 pages. Heroes of the Domains of Delight is new optional class features for every D&D class, plus rules for playing child heroes, subclasses, feats, spells, magic, and items, and Feywild lore. So very cool. Enter the realm of the Archfey and rediscover your sense of wonder with this ultimate guide to customizing and enhancing your character for campaigns in the Feywild and Domains of Light. 119 pages of custom content with a selection of optional class features like they do in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Rules for playing child heroes like the protagonist of countless fantasy tales from Narnia and Westeros to the Wonderland and Oz. Feats designed for both characters raised in the Feywild and those visiting. Whole lot of spells, selection of evocative magic items tied to the themes of the Feywild. So yeah, if you're playing Witchlight or you already bought our book Feywild Companion, this could be another thing to supplement those books. Sounds like lots of fun little things. I like the rules for playing child heroes, because that is a common thing that you see in these kinds of stories, whether it's Wizard of Oz or Alice in Wonderland or Through the Looking Glass, all those stories. And I think I would love to read that part. So you've got all these beautiful art here, nice layout, cool little border. So let's take a look inside. So yeah, I love the cover. Really pretty art. So it looks like it goes through each of the classes, starting with Artificer, and gives you like variant features, options for them, Artificer infusions or various subclasses. And then later in the book you get feats, spells, and then a whole section at the end on child heroes and the magic items. So you get to see 77 of the 119 pages. So that's a big chunk. So we can't read any of the child heroes because that's past the 77 pages, but that's okay. We'll find some other stuff to read in here. So just scroll through. I'm not going to show every page in the 77 because that's a lot of pages. But we'll jump ahead here, find something kind of later in the preview that you might not normally look at. So here's the Sorcerer. So it's got Sorcerer variant features. The new optional class features described in this section can be added to your Sorcerer character. Most don't require any other changes, but some replace an existing feature. So you've got, in addition to the new spells provided in Chapter 3, these spells from the Player's Handbook can be added to the Sorcerer spell list. The list is organized by spell level. So you've got all these that you can add to your spell list. And then here's your first level Sorcerer feature. You have an instinctive sense for the secrets of creating certain alchemical wonders, including gunpowder weapons that have been discovered in various corners of the multiverse, if your Dungeon Master uses the rules on firearms. Psionic Spellcaster, this is an alternate first level feature. You can use your intelligence modifier instead of your charisma modifier as your spellcasting ability score for your sorcerer spells. In addition, whenever one of your sorcerer class features refers to your charisma modifier, you can substitute your intelligence modifier for the purpose of the feature. So these are basically alternates to what you would normally get at first level, or you can add them on depending on how you're running as a dungeon master. And it says here, like, this replaces the normal skill proficiencies. This replaces the proficiency with light crossbows, etc. So alternate stuff, right? And then various insights, all kinds of stuff going all the way up to 17th level here. And then here's the font of magic enhancements. So it's additional uses of sorcery points. And then some meta magic options. and then the Nomad Mind. So this, this would be a sorcerer subclass, I think. So looks fun. Looks like it could be a good supplement with, you could even just pull a little piece out of it. And like I said, I know a lot of you bought Feywild Companion to support the channel, and I appreciate it, or just because you needed a book like that. So you might check out this one too, because it looks like it's got a lot of fun Feywild stuff, different characters, great art, and something for every class. So that's always good. It's under Heroes of the Domains of Delight in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have the 𝙁𝙗𝙗 Fey Friend or Foe by Trevor Sala for $1, 2 pages. And it says the 𝙁𝙗𝙗 is a new Fey creature that DMs can add to their arsenal. With dozens of limbs and colorful persona and body, it offers intriguing possibilities for both roleplay and combat. Perfect for Feywild adventurers, but suitable elsewhere too. Including in this product are a creature page, monster manual style, sample encounter seeds, all this fun stuff, including VTT tokens and paper miniatures. So that's nice that they've even got paper miniatures. And you can see the main document in the preview. You probably won't see the VTT tokens, but you'll get to see the main document. And this looks like a really fun little creature. I like the artwork. So we'll look inside. So yeah, there's the artwork again. Then you've got the lore stat block. It's a CR3. And then a page on encounters, so you can get some ideas on it. And I think this is a fun looking little guy here. Could be a friend or a foe, and it's got all these arms carrying different things. You could have a lot of fun with maybe one of these things happens to be a magic item, or maybe the characters need something and they're missing like a key to a lock or something, and it's in one of the hands of this little guy. It says, from a distance, a 𝙁𝙗𝙗 might appear to be an iridescent purple millipede the size of a human, huge unblinking eyes, a fluorescent orange and black flank its head. One might hear snatches of buzzing conversation and the patter of a dozen limbs. At night, the creature clutches a torch or similar light. On closer inspection, the bright markings are false eye spots. The real face, that same shimmering purple, is like that of a goblin with a particularly pointy nose and ears. Its large expressive eyes are solid glossy black. Each of the many pairs of legs are actually spindly arms complete with humanoid hands. At any given time, some are used for walking or climbing, while others grasp small weapons or objects. Chitinous armor plating covers the flexible segmented body. I really love this. I think it's such a fun idea because it does look like it's got this sort of caterpillar millipede eyes, but then it really has a face, and then it has all these opportunities to carry different things. So it's got grasping limbs and poisonous flesh. So let's see here. The target is grappled. Until the grapple ends, the target is restrained and has disadvantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. The 𝙁𝙗𝙗 may maintain the grapple on only one creature at a time, or two if both are tiny size. So very fun. Yeah, I love this. And, if again, for those of you who bought Feywild Companion, we have a new Domain of Delight in there called Dualis. And this would fit perfectly in there because we have the Centipede Bridge. We have the Forest of Flowers and all the giant versus miniature versions of things. So this could be really good. You could even use our monster size altering rules to make this bigger or smaller. But first, you got to buy this if you want to have this little guy in there to support Trevor here, and it's only $1. So, like I said, if you bought that, it'd be great to throw this into Dualis or anywhere, any Feywild. Put it in Prismeer because I love this creature. I definitely need to get this at some point. So check it out under 𝙁𝙗𝙗 in the links below and give it a click. Next, we have In Desperation, Abilities and Spellcasting Rules for Desperate Times, created by Tyler Lee. New rules for spellcasting without material components and for spells beyond your current level. 8 new abilities with powerful effects but devastating repercussions. So that sounds fun. I like all of those concepts, and it's only $1 for all that. It's 5 pages. It says Desperate Times call for desperate measures, and Desperation offers new rules and abilities to give players those epic story moments that come from unleashing powerful attacks that may leave you helpless, but may also be just what is needed to claim victory. Those moments where magic beyond your ability is needed to save the day, so you face the dangerous repercussions head on and cast it anyway. This rule supplement introduces rules for players desperate enough to attempt spells but without the monetary material components, as well as rules for casting spells beyond your current level. It also introduces 8 new feat-like abilities that grant the user powerful advantages, but with sometimes devastating repercussions. Using them could be just what you need, but beware of how vulnerable they can leave you. So again, I like all those concepts. You get to see 2 of the 5 pages here. So we got the desperation abilities, repercussions, all that good stuff. So yeah, let's take a look. Due to the fact that these abilities are made in desperation, making them more powerful and effective than the average spell or ability, they come with consequences. These are detailed at the end of each ability. So let's look at Edged Lightning prereqs. You've got to have Dex of 16 and the ability to cast spells or use key points. You build up electric energy in your hand and ready it for a devastating blow. However, the strike is so quick that you lose sight of all around you except for your target. As an action, you may expend 2 spell slots or 2 key points to make a melee weapon or spell attack against a creature within 5 feet of you. You are proficient with this attack, and you add either your dexterity or spellcasting ability modifier to its attack and damage rolls. On a hit, you deal lightning damage plus extra lightning damage for each spell slot or key point used after the first 2. At higher levels, the damage increases to all these different amounts at the various levels, and you move to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of them. This distance increases to 15 feet at the 11th level. Repercussions: you take a level of exhaustion until the end of your turn. All attacks have advantage against you, and you have disadvantage on all attacks and dex saving throws. Okay, cool. So you've got a power that you get to use, special power, but then you got a consequence because now you're going to have disadvantage, you're going to be exhausted, all that good stuff, not so good stuff, I should say. And that's kind of the pattern of these desperation abilities. I would like to have seen, but I understand you don't want to give too much away in the preview. I would have liked to seen the how to cast a spell above your level without the material components. But you got to save some of the goodies outside the preview so that people buy the book and see what's in it. And not only $1. I mean, if you like any one of those abilities, it'd be worth it to grab this and support this creator and find out what is up with these attempting spells at higher levels without material components. So sounds fun. Check it out under In Desperation in the links down below. Next we have OpenAI and Dragons Adventure 1, The Purging of 𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙚. It's $1.50 at a pay what you want suggested price, 13 pages, and it says the contents of this adventure were generated entirely by the OpenAI Playground, a privately sourced tool used for experiments like this one in the field of computationally generated text. So the entirety of this book was generated by AI. So cool experiment. I'm sure they might have had to put the title on or put a little info about the publishers in here or something, but outside of the boilerplate things that you have to do, the contents are all generated by AI. So when I saw this, I thought this is an interesting one to share with you guys because it is so different. It says, and now OpenAI, please write a synopsis paragraph of the entire module. So what we're about to read about the module is written by the AI. It says the adventure has 6 encounters. The players start the adventure in the village of Witham. There they meet Tolvin, who is a member of the 𝙤𝙤𝙬 resistance. Tolvin tells the players that the king of 𝙤𝙤𝙬 is a bad man, and that Tolvin wants them to go to 𝙤𝙤𝙬 and kill the king. The players are given the Sword of 𝙤𝙤𝙬. The Sword of 𝙤𝙤𝙬 is a magic item that has been made by an evil wizard. The wizard used it hundreds of years ago to defeat the king. The players start their journey to 𝙤𝙤𝙬 when Tolvin tells them to go to the next village over. The players meet the mayor of the next village. The mayor takes them to the manor where they meet the high-ranking member of the Slavers Guild. The players try to kill the high-ranking member. So you can see, in the phrasing, a lot of times as humans, when we're writing, we will say things like, well, I just used that phrase in the sentence before, so on my next sentence I need to use a different phrase, like a synonym or some alternate way of saying what I just said if I need to refer to it again. So the AI is, saying the high-ranking member, phrases like that, repeatedly, and that's okay. That's understandable. It's a program. It doesn't maybe get that nuance, and maybe it will eventually, but that's some of the giveaway that maybe this is written by AI, but it doesn't cause problems to have the word repeated. It still works. So I'm curious about this and how it plays out, if it actually works. It says down here, explore a story of fractured societies and forbidden magic and discover the quite unbalanced magical power of the Sword of 𝙤𝙤. Or was it a staff? So it maybe doesn't also understand balance, but I just think it's a fun thing. I mean, if you're looking for something to talk to your players about and say, hey, let's explore AI and go on this wild adventure that might make no sense in parts because it wasn't written by a human, and let's just have a laugh with it, see what's going on. Or let's look at it closely and see kind of how far this AI can take it. So you can see here 3 of the 13 pages. So a human, of course, had to go in and add art as well. But yeah, you can see the different things that the AI has written. It says, on the way, the players have their first of 6 encounters, a fight against a goblin and its pet, a giant spider. The spider is the size of a horse. The fight is very straightforward, and the players should be able to handle it with no problems. The players should kill the goblin and the spider. The first encounter is not too difficult, and it should only take the players a few minutes to beat it. So it's kind of got a very casual language there, but again, it's AI, so it's not understanding the nuances of maybe some of these words are a little casual, but that's okay. It works. It gets the job done, right? And that's the important thing. But I was fascinated when I saw this. I was like, oh, that's cool. Presumably they'll release more adventures created by this because it is just number 1 in the series. But fun AI goodness here. So check it out under OpenAI Series 1 in the links below. Next, we have Prismeer Encounters, a collection of encounters for characters to discover in the domain of Prismeer, by Serious Wisness, $1.99 for 17 pages. It's 24 encounters divided between the realms of Hither, Thither, and Yon. They are designed to act as completely standalone experiences and can be easily dropped into any campaign that takes the characters through Fey locales. None of the encounters presented in this document are designed to be overcome through combat. Some provide interesting roleplay opportunities, while others provide unique and memorable experiences for the characters. That's cool. So, if you don't know, The Wild Beyond the Witchlight, Wizards of the Coast, when they published that, they decided to make it an adventure where you could resolve it without combat. We did the same thing with Feywild Companion. All of our 2 adventures and 6 encounters are the same way. And then here, now you have another book with the same thing. And that's awesome. I like that it's a trend, that people are doing it and giving that an option, because not everybody wants to fight all the time. And even if you just mix it up and have some encounters that aren't combat, I think that just diversifies the experience a little bit. So 24 flavorful encounters, 5 new creature stat blocks, and 3 new magic items. And you also get a printer-friendly version, so that's helpful. And got a fun little cover here with all these little characters that you might meet while you're out there in Prismeer. And it's nice to see some things that are going to help supplement Prismeer. Because once you're done with Witchlight, Prismeer still potentially exists. So you have some stuff that you could do there with this stuff. So you get to see 8 of the 17 pages. So you've got Hither encounters, Thither and Yon encounters, and then sidebars. So it talks about running the encounters, and we'll read just a little bit of one of these. And you got some slimy items, lurching leeches. So Ballad of the Frogs. This encounter can occur when the characters are traversing through the boggy terrain in Hither. To begin the encounter, read the following aloud to the players. You spot a log in the bog. Atop this log sit 5 brightly colored frogs, 1 red, 1 yellow, 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 purple. They each croak in turn and watch as you approach. So this is a picture, very beautifully illustrated, of the frogs described. It says, the 5 colorful frogs love to sing a song they have composed together. They disappear in puffs of colorful smoke if a character undertakes any aggressive course of action towards them. Otherwise, they don't react to the character's arrival. And then it talks about the frog song. I don't want to give away all the details, and then the resolution of that. And then you've got another one called Frog in the Bog. This encounter can occur at any point the Characters are traveling through the swamps of Hither. To begin the encounter, read the following text. You stumble upon a small pool of thick mud, at the center of which a pair of green legs and webbed feet jut out from the ground. You can hear muffled cries for help coming from beneath the mud. So, sounds like you're going to have to rescue a little frog. So that's fun. And then here's some slimy items. Let's read a couple of those. A bag of holding woven from silvery fabric. Any item retrieved from the bag is covered in a fine layer of slime, which quickly drips off. A cap of water breathing. When a creature that is wearing the cap speaks its command word, the cap produces a globule of slime around its head rather than a bubble of air. The cap otherwise functions as normal. So, lots of options here for fun little items and frog stuff. Just cool little adventures that you can have as you're going through the Hither, Thither, and Yon in Prismeer. And you could probably put these in other Feywild locations. You know, if you bought Feywild Companion, we have that whole Dualis domain fully detailed, so you could throw these in there. I could see the frogs being near the Lake of Dreams or just anywhere in Dualis. So if you pick that up, you might want to grab this as well. It's only $1.99 and it supports this creator. So check it out under Prismeer Encounters in the links below. Next we have Rashemen. It's a unapproachable East campaign guide for the Forgotten Realms with a stunning cover, and it's already a best silver seller in its first week. And it's unique in that it has the PDF for $19.95, but you can also get a hardcover or a combo, the hardcover 54 and then the combo 57. And it's got a bunch of authors, so I'm only going to read a few of those in just a minute, but it's, let's see how many pages, 175 pages, so that's a good amount of pages. And it's from Joe Rosso, Andrew Bashinsky, Blaze Wigglesworth, Brian Holmes, Ed Greenwood, Emily Harmon, and a bunch of others, and lots of artists involved as well. In the distant lands of the unapproachable East, on the edge of Faerun, stoically stands the cold lands of Rashemen. Far from the Sword Coast, this land is filled with wonder, danger, and endless adventure. Rashemen is a nation known for its fierce berserkers and 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙤, an order of witches who govern with power and wisdom. For centuries, they defended against incursions by the Red Wizards of Thay. The lands hide broken ruins of the fallen empires of Narfell and Ramathar, who destroyed themselves in a conflagration of fiendish and arcane sorcery. The Rashemen Campaign Guide is filled with exciting new ideas for dungeon masters and players to add to their home games. It explores locations in and around Rashemen, its history, and the people who thrive in this dangerous land. A collection of monsters lie ready to challenge adventuring parties of any level. Players will discover enticing character options, including new races, classes, backgrounds, feats, and spells. It says, provides all of the setting, story, and character options for those looking to craft adventures in Rashemen. Inside, you'll discover an overview, a history of events in Rashemen, 3 player character races, including Hagspawn, Spirit Folk, and Tear, 9 class archetypes plus 1 full character class, the 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙤, 2 new backgrounds customized for the region, 5 new feats, 11 new spells, 11 mundane and magical items, 10 unique NPCs, 17 new monsters, and adventure ideas in there as well. And you can see the layout is beautiful. Tons of art. It reminds me of the first and second editions of Forgotten Realms stuff, how it would have that parchment background, so that's nice. I love that. The artwork's really pretty, nice. And you know, the Wizards really has only done a little bit of 5th edition content on Forgotten Realms, which is like its core campaign setting, right? So they've done, you know, Savage Coast and Icewind Dale and some of these things, but they haven't done like a massive, like, here's all of Faerun and everything like they used to do. They used to do these books that would cover everything. And of course you can go back and use the older versions for history and setting information, but it's so nice when you can have a book that is already 5th edition Forgotten Realms content. You don't have to convert the old stuff. You don't have to do all of that. And even still, I mean, some of the areas of the realms weren't fully detailed even back in the day. So I love that you're seeing on DM's Guild a number of titles that are going in and fleshing out some of these regions of the realms that maybe aren't getting attention, maybe never would get attention. from Wizards. And obviously Wizards can't cover everything, and Wizards wants to leave room for creators like us. So this is not a criticism of Wizards. It's just I'm enjoying seeing people try to fill in these gaps, and it's so nice too when they have these hardcover combos, etc. So yeah, if you're looking for hardcover, this would be a good option for you. But let's take a look inside. So the wonderful art continues, and this is also from Vorpal Dice Press, which they did Playing Dead, which was such a fun title. So I was excited to see this come out as well, because I'm thinking it's going to be, similar, good quality. And yeah, you can see the layout is very beautiful, very creative, lots of fun stuff. We'll read some stuff. I'm just trying to scroll through to give you an overview of what it looks like, but you get to see 23 of those 100 plus pages. So let's look at this part. It says, peoples. For the most part, Rashemen is a land of humans, largely dominated by those of Rashemi heritage, who are descendants of the ancient Ramathar Empire. But then they've got these new races, the Hagspawn. Shunned by many, these rare individuals must decide how their troubling origins will shape their nature. Then you've got the spirit folk, a people at home in the lands of their ancestors and who possess strong ties to either its mountainous heights or flowing waters. And then the 𝙤𝙤, fierce giant kin who have learned to thrive in the remote and unforgiving regions of the north. So, and then you get to see all of their traits here in this free preview. So you can basically look at the races in their entirety here and see if it works for you. So we'll look a little bit at the spirit folk. At their traits here, they've got dark vision, expert climber, daring athlete, bird whisperer. Once per day, a mountain spirit folk can cast speak with animals to speak with birds only. And then that's if you chose the mountain spirit folk subrace. And then if you choose the river spirit folk, you get expert swimmer, amphibious, water affinity, and fish whisperer. So this one can speak with fish. And so that's pretty cool. And then river spirit folk have advantage on saving throws against water-based spells and other magical effects. And yeah, that's fun. And then here's the 𝙤𝙤. Look at that. That's cool looking creature. And all the information on 𝙤𝙤. So one of the abilities is Hurler. You have proficiency with improvised weapons. When you throw an improvised weapon, you can use your strength or dex modifier for the attack and damage rolls, and can roll one of the weapon's damage dice and one additional time and add it to the damage dealt. Very cool. And then you've got info on some of the players' handbook races as well, like how they connect to this particular region. And then you get into the classes. You got the brand new class of the Woodclaren, and then looks like so this would be a subclass related to the region for the Artificer, etc. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. Looks really good. It's already a bestseller seller. So consider supporting this book and clicking the links below. And if you buy the hardcover, that's going to be a significant support for them and for the channel, because what we get is based on a percentage of the sale price. So definitely a big boost, but great looking book. I definitely want to get a copy at some point. So check it out under Rashemen in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Sewers of Suffering. It's a 5th edition adventure by Nuke, and it is $2.99 for 27 pages. It says, when regular adventures just aren't enough, just add some sludge, detritus, and the Cult of the Dead 3. The Sewers of Suffering is a 5th edition adventure that is based on the standard party of 4 to 5 characters and is scalable to accommodate a beginning level of 3rd to 7th. It's meant to be played in 3 3-hour sessions. It takes place in the sewers under the Shrine of Suffering in Baldur's Gate on the Sword Coast of the Forgotten Realms. It was originally designed as a supplement to the larger Baldur Gates Descent into Avernus campaign. However, with a little tweaking on the part of a creative dungeon master, it can be converted and applied to any urban setting. The adventure begins at the Shrine of Suffering, where the party is introduced to the church's recent troubles with their burial practices and their underground ossuary. They are contracted to venture into the sewers to find the source of these problems, a carrion crawler. The party will explore the sewers with multiple encounters, including Cultists of the Dead 3. Very cool. So let's take a look inside. They just have the quick preview, so we can't read aloud much, but you can see they've got a nice wizard style layout, and they've got flavor text, which is helpful. Sometimes adventures don't always give you the flavor text to read aloud, so that's nice, and I appreciate that. And it sounds fun. This notion that there's these sewers that you gotta do something to save some people in, and figure out what the Cult of the Dead 3 is. I think it sounds like a fun time, and it can be used with Forgotten Realms, so that's a plus as well. So check it out under Sewers of Suffering in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have Shadowmaster, a Rogue Subclass by Mark Thompson. It's a suggested price of $1.16 on Pay What You Want for 3 pages. And it says, step into or out of the shadows, clone yourself, and wreak havoc on the battlefield. Much simpler than the author's other products, and very easy to get playing. So let's take a look. And the author says that the money will be used to commission art for future titles. So if you purchase this, that helps the author. So you can see here's a foreword, writer's notes, all that stuff. So it looks like you get to see pretty much everything, which is good, especially how to pay what you want. It's nice to be able to see everything. So here's the Shadow Rogue. As a Shadow Master, you seek to surprise your enemies using various items and spells to trick and deceive them. Drawing your power from the Shadow Realm, using shadows and trickery, infiltrate, procure, and manipulate your surroundings to your advantage. Shadow Masters draw their power from magic, granted by striking a deal with the Shadow Demon, enhancing the already stealthy abilities and that the rogue possesses. Shadows, darkness, and deceit are your friends, where laws and sunlight are your natural foes. You are swift, intelligent, and your manipulation of the dark is masterful. And so then here's the various abilities you get at the different levels. So we'll read a couple of these. Level 3, Acolyte of Shadows. You use stacks of shadow to use abilities or cast spells. At level 3, when you choose the subclass, a deal with the Shadow Demon must be struck in order for you to be able to gain the abilities required to merge with shadows fully. Such a Shadow Demon might require you to give something in return for your powers, but once you have these powers, the Shadow Demon cannot take them back or remove them from you. Your number of shadow stacks are equal to the number of sneak attack dice you have, shown in the rogue table. And then we have a level 9 Shadow Dash. At level 9, you have learned to use your shadows to further your own mobility. You can spend a bonus action to step into the shadow of an object or creature equal to your own size or larger and exit from any shadow within 100 feet of you. You do not need vision of the shadow you choose to exit from as you move through the Shadow Realm to find an exit. For each Shadow Dash you use, you must pay 3 shadow stacks. So cool, little fun, playing with shadows. If you're a rogue, you already kind of are hiding maybe in the shadows anyway, a little bit, since you can be deceptive or up to thievery, depending on how you're playing the character, of course. So this kind of fits nicely within the rogue options, giving you some playfulness with shadows, and there's probably lots of story abilities or story possibilities with shadow demons and various things if a dungeon master wants to use this. So check it out under Shadow Master in those links in the video description. Next we have the Slaughterhouse Games by Andy the Old Goat Headley and Jordan Carmichael for $3.99 for 14 pages. It says the game begins. Do you have what it takes to survive this deadly game? Time is of the essence as you awake in an unknown location and discover that the only way out is to keep moving. Staying behind is for corpses. A thrilling adventure that can be dropped into any existing campaign or run as a short adventure for a party of 4 level 5 adventurers. And then you've got some stuff here that we'll look at in a second. And I like this art. It's fun looking art here. So we got when a group of strangers awake in an unknown location, the clock starts ticking. Questions abound. Who are these other people? Why are we here? How did we get here? Where is our gear? How do we get out? The adventurers are lost, disoriented, and need answers quickly. Can the characters solve the mystery and escape before time runs out, or will their names be added to the already long list of deranged pranksters' victims? So, yeah, it's a fun little setup. I think it reminds me of several movies, maybe even that new series on Netflix called Squid Game, which I haven't gotten to watch, but I've heard it's good. So yeah, if you want to have like a version of we lost our gear and we don't know what's going on kind of setup, then this could be a really fun option for you. And let's flip through the pages. They don't have a full preview, but we can flip through the small one. So yeah, they're giving you lots of sidebar and flavor text, it looks like, to support your running of the adventure. And I love this look at this character here. So yeah, it looks fun, mysterious. You could throw this easily into Ravenloft or anywhere where you're trying to have some sort of scary thing. Halloween is coming up, right? So this could be a really good option for Halloween. Maybe you're going to have a special, maybe you're going to pause your normal campaign and you're going to have like a special Halloween night where you do some different creepier sounding adventures, and so this could be one of them. So check for Slaughterhouse Games in the links below and give it a click. Next we have Smashing Pumpkins, 5th edition folk horror adventure for levels 3 to 5. So this one also I included because I thought Halloween's coming up, could be a good option for people. It's by SP Cole, $7.95 for 82 pages, so quite a lot of pages for this adventure, which is nice, and a bunch of artists involved. Reeve Dunder Chorley has an offer you can't refuse. Perform at his village fete in exchange for a small fortune. Visit picturesque Brindleberry and dive into country life. Judge pumpkins, show off your skills, and fight elder gods. So that's quite a disparity there. You're judging pumpkins 1 minute, and then you're fighting elder gods. So, but that could be a lot of fun, right? Especially again if you're going to host a Halloween themed adventure night. I think this could be another good option for you. It says an intriguing rural mystery. Smashing Pumpkins is set in a small village with big secrets. Behind the smiles and warm welcomes, darkness grows. Your adventurers will need all of their magic strength and performance skills as they become embroiled in a plot to bring an older god back to life. Pumpkin, anyone? If you enjoyed cult horror tales of idyllic villages with dark twisted sides, this adventure is for you. Fans of The Wicker Man, Hot Fudge, and Midsummer will find much to love in Brindleberry. Yeah, I was thinking of Children of the Corn or Children of the Damned, or not Children of the Damned, Village of the Damned. Those kind of creepy village locations. So very fun concept. It says perfect for an ongoing campaign or as a Halloween horror one-shot. Included in the 80-page booklet, over 12 plus hours, 3 hours of gaming in an immersive sandbox environment, catchy narrative hooks, side quests and mini games, 7 intricately detailed full-colored maps. So I'm not sure. I think what this means, over 12 plus hours / 3 hours, is that it's 12 hours total, and then it's 3 hours per session, maybe. So if you're watching, you might want to clarify that. But I think that's what it means. So some cool little outlines of the characters. But yeah, it's got a lot of artists involved, so I'm sure there's art inside. Unfortunately, there's no preview. It'd be cool, since you have so many pages, if you guys could add, either a full page preview or a quick preview of even just part of the book. You can start at a page in the middle if you want. It doesn't have to be, starting from page 1. Or maybe put a couple full page snapshots in here, just so people can read some of the text and see kind of how your writing style goes. Make sure it's for them. But I'm excited by the concept. I think it sounds like a really fun time, that there's performance skills involved, that there's judging of pumpkins, that there's elder gods involved. All of that sounds like a blast to me. And to me, anytime you see 82 pages for an adventure, could be a lot of good stuff. So check it out under Smashing Pumpkins in the links below. And as I always say, I've suggested full-size previews and things like that. Those might be up by the time you click the link. So make sure you double check that those aren't here, or that there isn't something added to check out as well. So give it a click under Smashing Pumpkins. Next we have Target Run, which I love this cover. I saw it on the feed coming through as new titles, and I was like, I definitely want to check this one out. It's sports comedy adventure for tier 1 to 4 players by Jeffrey Golden and Matt Rice. And congrats on this cover, because I think it's really an eye catcher. Draws your eye in right away. So good job on that. Jeffrey Golden is the author listed here, with Matt Rice being the artist, and it's $4.99 for 32 pages, and it's a sports comedy in the tradition of Caddyshack and Mighty Ducks. We're getting a lot of movie references today, which is awesome. I like that. There's always some sort of natural theme that emerges with these videos. This anarchic archery adventure is an estimated 6-hour session for 1st to 4th level players. Could your party use a little R&R? Then check into the world-class treetop resort Overtop Heights, home of the Sun Elf archery sport 𝙁𝙘𝙀. Enjoy opulent amenities like fine dining, a tree sap spa, stolen treasure, a hammer-wielding groundskeeper, magical murder hawks, pixie revolutionaries attempting a takeover, and the softest beds imaginable. That's a lot of stuff, but it's colorful and flavorful, and I think it'll make it a very unique, memorable location. Join the fun-loving Tasfan on her quest to become the first dwarf to play 𝙁𝙘𝙀 at Overtop Heights. Your adventures will crash parties, fight bullies, catch cheaters, live in luxury, and beat the superstars of 𝙁𝙘𝙀 at their own game to help Tasfan earn gold and shake up the stuffy world of Overtop Heights. So, again, the story, helping this dwarf do something that's never been done by a dwarf before. I mean, spot on. Very good. I'm excited. I don't know if I've seen anything by this author before. I'll have to check, but I'm excited by the potential here, because these are some creative, one-of-a-kind descriptions. So it's not like you're going to see a bunch of other adventures that have these things. So very nice. That's a good way to go with your writing. Designed to easily fit into any ongoing campaign. A lighthearted palette cleanser set in a luxury spa. Pamper your players. Includes 3 illustrated maps, both in the book and as separate files. You got 3 visual story diagrams and a bunch of other art. Rules to play the sport of 𝙁𝙘𝙀 outside the adventure, so that's nice. So you're going to, even after this is done, or even if you just want to use the sport, you can. Focus on social and exploration gameplay with fast-paced, non-violent sports combat at the heart of the story. Nostalgic fun inspired by slobs versus snobs comedies of the 1980s. So yeah, I think that's fun. Lots of options here. So looking inside, you've got the character story map. You get to see 7 of the 32 pages. Here's a setup, chapter interview, forest path overview. Here's the map, participation trophy, all this good stuff. What's going on? We're going to read a little bit more. Some fun art there. I like the look of this. Looks really cool. Yeah, some fun kind of comic style art, which I like. So let me find something to read for you here. It says participation trophy. As they make their way north up the hard dirt path, sweating through their robes and tunics, the adventurers see a strange object sticking out of the bush in front of them. It is a polished gold trophy with a few dents in it. The inscription reads, "Most valued 𝙁𝙀𝙀 champion 𝘽𝙀𝙀. Free treasure. They should be encouraged to take it." The inside of the trophy cup glitters. If a wizard or magic user further investigates the trophy and passes a perception check, they'll know it's pixie dust residue. Any adventurer who has lived in or visited the Feywild gets an automatic pass. Nice. So tying it even to the Feywild, which is cool. So I like that. I think there's just a lot of fun to be had here with these nice maps, fun artwork, concepts. You're going to have a whole game called 𝙁𝙀𝙀. I don't want to spoil too much, so come read as much as you like. If you're a DM, maybe read the whole thing. If you're thinking about DMing, maybe this might be a fun option for you. I really like this a lot. So check it out under Target Run in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Tessa presents 80 maps for the Wild Beyond the Witchlight. So Tessa Moorcraft. $8.99, 162 pages, but it's basically maps. 80 maps for the Wild Beyond the Witchlight. So you've got printable, all kinds of variations, whether it's A3, tabloid. You've got JPEGs at 100 ppi, and then without a grid, with a grid, Dungeon Draft, VTT, you name it, it's here. It says every location in the campaign that does not have a published map is included. Detailed, all maps have a high level of detail, whether it is furniture, personal effects, footprints, debris, weather, or lighting. Specific, all described materials are included in the maps where they are applicable from a top view. If the book says there is a carousel with 8 unicorns, and that is what the map shows. Versatile, all maps are available in multiple formats, including VTT format, as well that can be imported into popular virtual tabletops. So yeah, very cool. And also printable. So that's nice. Have both options. And here's just some of the maps. You've got some carnival themed stuff, various things in the Feywild itself, underground things, water things, everything basically is covered. So I can't imagine that you would need an additional map beyond that for Wild Beyond the Witchlight. And even I think, if you like I said previously, if you bought our Feywild companion here, we include 24 variations of maps in ours, but this could be used as well. I mean, Dualis has a lot of locations, our domain that we created, that could use this. You could use some of these maps for those locations. So if you purchase that or Witchlight, I think this is a good additional purchase. Or if you're just looking for some maps for your own Feywild thing, I think this is a good purchase. You got some very creative looking things here with this moon, all kinds of stuff going on. I'm sure that's specific to Witchlight, but it could be something else. Could be totally something else. It's up to you, but I think it's helpful. Let's look inside. So you can see kind of how to print, instructions on all that, and then listing all the maps by the pages in Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Yeah, I think there's a lot here. It's so nice that they did that. So I can see lots of uses for this. Witchlight, Feywild Companion, and beyond. You can use these maps. So, and 80 of them, no less. I love them. I think the artwork is really beautiful. So good job, Tessa, on this. And check it out under Tessa Presents 80 Maps in those links below. Give it a click and support Tessa and the channel. Next, we have To Battle, a DM resource for running large-scale battles in 5th edition by Carolina Chalupska. And it is $2 at 12 pages. It says, are you planning a large-scale battle for your D&D group? This supplement is for you. Inside you will find simple but robust rule set for designing and running battles for parties of any level, adding mechanics inspired by Blades in the Dark and 4th edition skill challenges. You can use it for one-shots or set-piece battles in an ongoing campaign. The supplement includes a workbook for keeping track of the progress of the battle and a sample encounter you can use in your own adventure. Additional rules variants will help you design a doomed battle against overwhelming odds. So here's the table of contents and then an overview, so you get to see 3 of the 12 pages. So let's read about the core concepts of the system. Players must feel that their contributions to the battle are significant and important. Players should have a reason to care about the rest of the battlefield and the other participants of the battle. Combat encounters need to be limited in scope, quick, and varied. So I like those concepts because, yeah, you do want all of those things if you're going to bother with any kind of large-scale battles. So it's promising that they're starting with that there. And it says the tool utilizes 4 elements. It's got progress clocks, which is similar to the ones used in the Blades in the Dark TTRPG. They track the PCs and their enemies' march towards victory. A variant of a skill challenge from 4th edition, which represents preparations before the battle begins and determines starting conditions. PCs join a series of smaller self-contained combat encounters directly engaging key points of the battlefield. And between the combat encounters, the DM makes battlefield rolls and determines the PC actions, which represent how well the rest of their allies on the battlefield are doing. These roles contribute to the progress towards victory or defeat as well, but to lesser extent than the player's actions. So I like this. We can only really read. We're not reading any detail because that's all this in the preview. But based on these concepts and the tools, I think this is really promising. So if you are looking for a way to bring a large-scale battle to your 5th edition table, check out To Battle in the links below and click on it. Next, we have Lost Things, a prelude adventure by Travis Woodall. Down here it says by Travis Woodall, but the authors are listed as Stacey Allen and Will Doyle. These are people that were involved in creating the actual Wild Beyond the Witchlight for Wizards of the Coast, and this is a D&D Adventurers League title, and it's free. So you got to get it. I already did. You can see. And I'll read the description here. Like a half-forgotten dream, the Witchlight Carnival drifts into our world once every 8 years, drawing folk of all ages to delight in its fey wonders. Entry without a ticket is strictly forbidden. and the consequences for trespass echo throughout time. A 2-hour prelude adventure to the Wild Beyond the Witchlight campaign. During this 2-hour adventure, your players create kid characters and explore the carnival unaware of the malevolence that lurks within. So I love this because if you know Witchlight, the characters lost something previously at the Witchlight Carnival. And so this is kind of playing through that backstory. So I definitely thought this was important to share with you that it was released. Wizards has released a few things, and Adventurers League has released a few things on the DM's Guild, which I love because I'm happy to see Wizards kind of leading people to the DM's Guild and saying, hey, you got to go check out DM's Guild, get these titles, because it helps all of us, all the creators that are producing content on there to get more traffic, more eyeballs on the DM's Guild. And this particular one is exciting because it's already referenced. It's referenced in the official book. It's a prelude that you can actually act out and go through. And as we talked about earlier in the venture, you don't really have a lot of opportunities in D&D for kids to be the character as far as the PC goes, right? We did see one option earlier in the video, and then now this option. So it's exciting that is now a possibility, and you can't go wrong with free, right? So I hope all of you watching this click the WBW-PR link down below and get over here and get it. And that stands for Wild Beyond Witchlight, I believe, and Prelude for the PR there. So help you remember. But yeah, it's exciting that this kind of stuff is coming. You know, it's like, hey, you know, we know you bought the book, so let's give you some extra stuff, or let's give you another supplement to do for charity. So I appreciate that Wizards could have charged for this. They could have charged for, the whole thing here, and they chose not to. They decided, let's just give it to you as a bonus. Even if you didn't buy Wild Beyond the Witchlight, you can get this for free. So I definitely recommend it. It looks fun, and who knows what you could take from it, even if it's just seeing an adventure and how it deals with you as a child, and maybe you can adapt that technique to another story. So many options, and it's free, guys. So I think you have to click it. Look for WBW-PR in those links in the video description and give it a click and grab it for yourself. Okay. Next we have weird stuff I found in the Goblin Den. So that could be a lot of stuff. You never know what's in a Goblin Den, right? It's by Isaac May. It's $1, 6 pages, and it says, welcome to the Goblin Den. The messy caves, coves, and lairs of goblins are filled with what they would call treasure and most others would call junk. However, if one only looks deeply into the recesses of the Goblin Den, they may find items of incredible potential, such as a blanket that can misdirect attention from you, a branch to keep people in line, or even a crown with the power to lead armies. The Goblin Den is filled with more than junky items and twisted traps, and if an adventurer wishes to stick their head into every haystack, they may just find the needle they are looking for. If you're looking for more weird stuff, check out the other books. So they have a whole series that looks like weird stuff. But we haven't been doing this series since videos since DM's Guild premiered, so there's a lot of stuff we haven't ever covered. And I hope to someday go back to some of those things and cover some books we missed before the series started. But yeah, so you get to see 3 of the 6 pages here. I enjoy the cover quite a bit. So let's read a couple of these items. False Crown of the Goblin King. It's a wondrous item, common, requires attunement. While wearing this crown, you have advantage on all charisma ability checks when dealing with goblin kind. Okay, very cool. Vanishing Sheet. Wondrous item, uncommon. As an action, you can cover yourself in the sheet to magically vanish. You become invisible for the next minute and immediately teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see. Anything you are wearing or carrying is invisible as long as it is on your person. However, the sheet remains entirely visible. You can use this ability once and regain use of it the next day at dawn. Okay, so yeah, that's fun. A little sheet that hides you. Last one, let's read Ring of the Sneak. Ring rare, requires attunement by a rogue. While wearing this ring, you can have advantage on any dex stealth check that you make using the hide action. The first time you use the hide action as part of your cunning action ability, it no longer uses your bonus action. You can do this once and regain use of it the next day at dawn. So Lots of fun stuff. And it's all found in this Goblin Den. Or it could be, you could put these items really anywhere. So getting quite a few items for only $1. I think that's a good deal. So check it out under Weird Stuff I Found in the Goblin Den in the links below. So that's our last title for this week. Please subscribe to the video, like the video, share it with your friends, leave us a comment, and click those links to support the channel and all these wonderful creators whose work is really nice and fun, and I'm always excited to see what's out there every week. So congrats to all the creators getting stuff out there. If you buy anything from those links, you're supporting the channel, even if it's not one of the titles we feature. But I do hope you support all the titles we featured and others on the site. And if you're feeling especially kind, consider purchasing one of my books, like Feywild Companion. It's 150 pages of fun for DMs and players in the Feywild. So much stuff. 79 VTT tokens, a brand new domain of delight, all kinds of good stuff, 2 adventures, subclass, you name it, it's in there. So check out Feywild Companion. Also, Potions Unlocked on DriveThruRPG, over 100 pages, print on demand or digital, with potions galore, as well as locations, vendors, story hooks, characters, NPCs, monsters, you name it, it's in there. And it takes potions to the next level with those optional rules, so that you don't have this boring consumable that just goes away super quickly. This makes potions even more fun than that. And then also we have Van Richten's Librum of Lineages, which is the perfect guide to get yourself up to speed on how to deal with lineages. It's got 4 that you can use in Ravenloft or any setting. They're very creative, different little experiences in those lineages. Some of them are focused on objects, so it's quite different than what else is out there. Plus, we go into how do you get rid of a lineage, because you may have a character or a player that wants to get rid of their lineage. So it's really nice to read the rules on how to get rid of a lineage. Or if you want to take 2 lineages and have a character start as one and then transition to another lineage, we lay out how to do that. So at $2.99 for Van Richten's Librum of Lineages, I think that's a steal to get all of those fun lineages plus the rules you need to handle them moving forward, because they are going to become more and more of an important part of the game. So again, thank you for watching, supporting the channel, supporting all these wonderful creators and all the other creators on DM's Guild. It's much appreciated, and DriveThruRPG. So please check out all those links and keep on watching. Until next time, happy adventuring.